uh, it was in the night. Then we're staying in town. So my dad woke me up from the bed, and he opened the window, and he showed me who Konyi was. He showed me, you see that gentleman outside there? That is Konyi. But they were outside.
You saw Konyi face to face?
Yes, but I was young. You can't believe that.
Do you remember his face?
I still remember it up to now. This is something that I can't forget, you know. It was we had really a very bad time in northern Uganda. That is where we see development in northern Uganda has been so low, but yeah, along the way, the government is helping us, grow.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow, Michael had a face-to-face with Konyi as he was young.
Yes, and then then of course we were young, and then yes, we had the opportunity of coming because we had some of our people here. Like yes, we had the opportunity to come. They brought us, and then Mom built a house, as I said. Yeah.
Do people in northern Uganda grow coffee?
Now, northern Uganda has not been a place of coffee for a very long time, but then according to research and according to the Coffee Research Institute, they've actually developed certain varieties of a species called Robusta that grow on lowland, because for us it is lowland. That it is actually right now growing in Gulu, mostly in Nwaya district. So you realize that we are actually adopting and we are starting to develop to grow coffee. I also saw something on Twitter when in Karamoja they also introduced a certain variety that is actually starting to grow there.
But Karamoja is a highland, so that is the variety more of
it's a highland or it's
Arabica?
It's Robusta.
Three, two, one.
How did you, as a child, if you visibly remember, what did you want to be in life?
Well, if I go back, I think I looked at two things as a child. I thought about, I looked up to the skies and I'd see the stars and, see the airplanes flying over. And as I was there, with my dad, looking after the cows, or with my grandma going fishing, or with my grandpa farming, I'd look up and go, wow, what are those things up there? And then someone told me, that's a space station. Go, okay, interesting. And what else is up there? Well, those are stars, and those are airplanes. I thought, well, it would be great, to figure out how those things work. Yeah. And so I guess that was one interesting, passion of mine as a little kid, figuring out how aerospace vehicles work. And I guess that wasn't, something which excited me a lot.
Wow. You said the two things. So how did you end up there? You were fishing with your grandmother, you mentioned, and farming with your father, and grazing with your grandfather. Why were you not able to pick one of these from these, three different distinct people, and then you ended up in the things that are up in the sky with all this interest? what was the motivation like? Was somebody an aerospace engineer? Was somebody thinking about the things up, or it just came to you?
It's, back then, we didn't have Wi-Fi. We didn't have mobile phones. We didn't even have phones, or television. We just had nature, and that was great, And we had stories around the campfire, around the hearth every evening. We'd sit down and talk to each other. We lived quite close to national parks, so every now and again a lion would hop over and grab a cow and go and have supper as well. So we shared with the lion. So it was being at one with nature. But what was important in all that was allowing one's mind to imagine, allowing one's mind to run, to fly, to really go as far as one's mind could possibly go. And if I think of looking at things from the space going down, I could still look down and figure out what's going on, on the fishing side. I could look at what's going on the farming side. I could look at what's going on the grazing side, because when you're up there, you can see everything. But it also helps you appreciate how special the earth is. So I'm most grateful for that natural environment that any kid in a rural village in Uganda or any other part of Africa right now has, that where you see every star, and I believe there is something special about that.
coffee industry is very wide, it's very big, it's very full of opportunities. Don't sit there and say, I have nothing to do. You can join the industry. You can get whatever you want. If you give it time, invest in it. By giving it time, don't look for money, don't look for big salary at first. First learn. After learning, you'll get how much amount you need. Yeah. In coffee industry, there's no like, barista should get this amount of money. No, it depends on your knowledge. Yeah. What you know is what you get. You cannot be like having junior experience and asking for experienced one. No. You can join now. Good thing, everything is simple. Yeah. It's easy. Don't sit there and say, oh no, I'm scared to join this. No, it's very simple. You can make. Yeah, it's very simple. It's not so difficult. Simple, very simple, very enjoyable. You can do everything when you're enjoying. You can do your coffee. You can serve your customers. Coffee create friendship. Yeah. Coffee gives you a job. Even if you are not working in a cafe, maybe you can go in different field, but still in coffee industry. Yeah. Yes.
Let's put up the camera.
It is House of Talent Television Uganda, and we're broadcasting live and direct on our studios here on Ukoto Street. Welcome to the show. This is the Coffee Break Show with me, Amoni Mukisa. And today's show is going to be amazing. We have one of the world guys, best guys, I can't say, but living down here in Uganda is a barista champion, and we're going to be delving through his story and get to know him better. How is the experience of being a world, I can't say a world barista because he's been a barista, a champion barista for quite a while. But before that, welcome to the show. And as I said, my name is Amoni Mukisa. This is the Coffee Break Show. What you need to do is get a cup of coffee and get your tablet, your monitor, your phone, I don't know if Katochi, those phones have been put to that standard of where you can connect to the internet. But if it is true, you can also get over there and watch us via Facebook as House of Talent Uganda, YouTube House of Talent Uganda, and Twitter HTV1UG. You can follow us on all those platforms, and you'll be streaming live and direct with us here in our studios on Ukoto Street. Well, Michael, here we are.
I'm here, brother. How are you?
People have been requesting for you on the show, eh?
I'm right here.
You're right here.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been fine.
How is the new year treating you? Okay, we're 2 weeks so far, 3 weeks so far in the new year. So, how is it treating you?
I think so far so good. Like, just started on well. We are seeing on how it is going to go all the way, but so far so good.
Money is where?
Money we can't say now. Let's wait for December.
You're not chilling with the big boys like most people are saying these days. Eh?
Chilling with the big boys. We are trying to chill around slowly.
But no worries, on the Coffee Break Show, so you're going to be chilling with the big boys now.
Definitely.
Well, Michael is a barista champion 2018-2019, and will be letting us know how he got to be a barista champion. As we were getting on the show, he told me he's tired of being a barista champion. Who says that? So all that and more, we're going to be having that conversation. But before we get into that conversation, we need to know who is Michael.
Okay, so Michael. Let me start with my old names, right?
Yeah.
I'm called Wokrach Michael. I come from northern Uganda, in a district called Kitgum, but I also fall in Gulu. Yeah, I was born there, and all the way because of the war that we had in northern Uganda. So we decided my parents came this side to Kampala. So we actually live in Mukono. That's where mom built our house. So we grew up from there, studied from Kampala, home, we just go once in a while, but yes, but home still remains home, you know. Yeah, all the way. So I studied all the way from primary. I started from SETA, then I went to O-level, when I also again went to another district in Kayunga, St. Kalemba. Then from St. Kalemba, I came back to Mukono, that is Bishop's Mukono. I did BCM art.
Wow, BCM.
Yeah.
Quite the brains.
I love
there.
art and I love science. That's what makes it very unique, you know.
Okay.
Then I proceeded to the university and I was given food science as a course. So yeah, I did food science for 4 years. Then that is when, along the way, I channeled into the coffee industry, because food science was there, like the coffee was just within the science. Yeah.
Well, we've had here a barrister who said also did like food science. That was Ibra.
Yeah.
You know Ibra, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is it true that most guys who are now getting into coffee have studied like food science because of the fact that now coffee is the backbone of Uganda and they want to venture into the best thing in Uganda?
Not everyone may like have the opportunity to study science, but it is all about the passion. If you feel like you can get the zeal, the passion, you can join the industry. But then for us, it is, of course, there has been an opportunity that we got the chance to dive in correctly, like, because food science is more about quality.
Yeah.
Yes. So when we dived in and then joined the industry, we actually started from the quality part of it. And I gave credit to Uganda Coffee Development Authority that nurtured us all the way from the university, because even in the universities, we had like coffee clubs, you know. So when I joined the university, I had a friend, Anobi, who was actually above me. So he came and told me, Michael, there is something about coffee I want us to discuss about. I'm like, coffee? Tell me more. It's like, there's a club, I want you to join. I'm like, so how much? It's like 5K, joining.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. I got the money, I paid. Then along the way, they called us for the meeting. They introduced us, new people. We came in. Like, okay. Along the way, they served us coffee.
Okay, Michael. Before we got into how you got into coffee, you saw me laughing, and as you were explaining something, I wanted to set a record, and I'm like, me, I never did food science as I was joining coffee. I did completely a different combination in A level, then I'm doing completely a different thing in university. So I'm not in the league of Michael. Let's get back into the part where you said there was a war up in your home village, and you decided to come back here to in Kampala. What was some of the memories that you remember as you were coming down here to Kampala? Were you like, did the war happen when you're in the village? You as a person?
Okay, like of course the war was there for a very long time. Those are the LRA, Konyi. Okay, some of us were born from the Konyi's regime. That is where we have some, I don't know, we could call them awkward names. Okay, because my name means the world is bad.
Wokorach.
Wokorach means the world is bad. It's like you're getting out there, but it's really not safe. You get it. But then we were really young. One of the worst memory I could remember was in the night. Then we were staying in town. So my dad woke me up from the bed, and he opened the window, and he showed me who Konyi was. He showed me, you see that gentleman outside there? That is Konyi. But they were outside.
You saw Konyi face to face?
Yes, but I was young. You can't believe that.
Do you remember his face?
I still remember it up to now. This is something that I can't forget, you know. It was we had really a very bad time in northern Uganda. That is where we see development in northern Uganda has been so low, but yeah, along the way, the government is helping us, grow.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow, Michael had a face-to-face with Konyi as he was young.
Yes, and then then of course we were young, and then yes, we had the opportunity of coming because we had some of our people here. Like yes, we had the opportunity to come. They brought us, and then Mom built a house, as I said. Yeah.
Do people in northern Uganda grow coffee?
Now, northern Uganda has not been a place of coffee for a very long time, but then according to research and according to the Coffee Research Institute, they've actually developed certain varieties of a species called Robusta that grow on lowland, because for us it is lowland. That it is actually right now growing in Gulu, mostly in Nuaya district. So you realize that we are actually adopting and we are starting to develop to grow coffee. I also saw something on Twitter when in Karamoja they also introduced a certain variety that is actually starting to grow there.
But Karamoja is a highland, so there is the variety more of
it's a highland or it's
Arabica?
It's Robusta.
They're also growing Robusta.
Yeah, they're growing Robusta. But you see, it all started from central and maybe mountainous areas, but now you see it is stretching countrywide. So we are excited to see, and me, I would love to taste coffees from my region and see how they taste like.
When was the first time you saw coffee like a coffee bean?
Saw coffee like a coffee bean.
Oh, yeah.
For me, was in the university.
In the university.
Yes.
So from the age of 1 to the age of maybe around
20.
20.
Yes.
You hadn't seen coffee.
No.
Wow. What inspires you to get into coffee?
As I told you now, the story starts. I meet this hobby of mine. He's called Kalonji Ibrahim. So he calls me, invites me. He's like, Michael, come join in. I paid the money and then I joined the club. They gave us a cup of coffee. And I'm like, When I tasted it, I'm like, this is slightly different from the Nescafe we used to like take, because high school we used to buy Nescafe, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, now this is a real coffee. Then they started teaching us how these coffees look like. Then they started explaining to us slowly by slowly as we are also trying to pursue the course. Then we dived in to understand deep on how these coffees actually look like, taste like, and quality-wise, all the way through.
By the way, we speak most times about Nescafe coffee. What makes Nescafe to be Nescafe?
I think Nescafe is an instant coffee. Now, people term every instant coffee like Nescafe, but there are very many companies right now around the world that are doing instant coffees. Okay. Now, how instant coffees are made is like the coffee passes through the almost same process of roasting, and then they undergo to more unique process of being filtered to get a very heavy as soluble. That is, you see when you're brewing coffee, sometimes it's thick, okay? Then they undergo through a process called atomization, some deep science, atomization whereby hot liquid passes through a very hot metal and then it contracts. It binds. So, but that is another story to maybe teach people more about how they make instant coffee. Yeah.
Okay, one thing I have for you is respect in this game.
You're
very, very, very respected in this game, to the fact that most people respect you because of the knowledge you have about coffee, but also because of the reputation you've built along the way in your coffee career. How long has it been since you started doing coffee?
I think it's 10 years now.
10 years.
Yeah.
10 years you've been a barista champion. You've competed in different competitions in the universities. Yeah. How was it like competing deep down in the university level?
In the university levels, I remember I was in year 3, I think. Year 2, I think. Like that was 2015. So so this is how it works. We joined the industry, the coffee industry. So we had the club at the university. supported by Uganda Coffee Development Authority.
Are these clubs still existing? Because
I think
I tell you, the school I went to, it never had anything related to coffee. Where are these clubs? Which schools are these?
These clubs were actually, because they started them up at the university level, like a prototype, so that.
So it starts on the university level.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it is from the university level that then they try to actually break down to secondary. I think that thing was there, but then COVID came and everything tarnished.
Because I believe that if we have more of most clubs in schools, universities would have like higher domestic consumption of coffee, because we're getting coffee out there, we're getting coffee into the faces of people, you know. So if we do such a thing, and UCDA is watching this episode right here on Hospital TV, let's get more clubs of coffee into schools, not only universities. Like let's start like maybe at a level of primary, because most of our farmers are our parents, and they grow coffee. So if we have a club in a school, it's talking about coffee, and my parent, let's say, is growing coffee, and if I go back home during the holidays, I can relate what I learned into the club of coffee to what is in the garden. So something like that would be more helpful. So guys, we still have Michael on the show today, the Coffee Break Show. What you need to do is go down on our platforms, social media platforms, that's HTV1 EG on Twitter. Use the hashtag, that's the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent, and let us know what you want to know about Michael, and he'll be able to answer. But guys, we shall go into a short commercial break, and we shall come back soon.
What are some of those things that we can do, all right, to make sure that Uganda becomes a nation that actually consumes its own coffee? Because we have, you know, the Bubu by Uganda, okay? So how do we get ourselves into that state where we actually, before thinking of exporting our coffee, actually get to consume our own coffee? How do we get there?
First of all, we need to train our people.
Yeah.
So we need more training, more sensitization about coffee.
Yeah.
You know, those guys that came first before us, they have that, like that negative side of coffee. Like telling someone that coffee will, like, you will lose sleep when you take coffee. You can't. It just keeps your body awake, not only the mind. Me have to take water every morning. Yeah? So if I take water every morning, I can take like 5, 6, 7 cups of coffee, and I sleep properly. Yeah. So we need to sensitize our people. Yeah. And we need to give them an example that is true. Yeah. Ethiopia is a good exporter, but quality coffee in Ethiopia comes from Migachafe. That quality coffee is consumed within the country. So you first appreciate what you're growing before you take it outside. So you need to train so much from the farm level. Like 80% of our farmers, they just grow, sell, but they have even never tasted the coffee. Many like a much percentage, a good percentage of our farmers. So from the farm level to the general level, we need to train. That is that's what we need to do. Even though we put each coffee at a lesser price, like the consumption will not go high. So we need to first train. Then other things will be coming up. But training is the key to everything. Like we need to sensitize our our Ugandans good about coffee. Like after taking coffee, you feel this, you get this. Like we appreciate what you are growing.
Yeah.
So you see Uganda is taking more of the matoke. Like they appreciate more than sending it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So training is the key
Yeah.
to everything.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching the Coffee Break Show here on House of Talent Television. What you need to do is go on our social media platforms. I repeat this, our social media platforms. That's YouTube, and subscribe to watch more of our episodes. What you need to do is subscribe, hit the notification bell, because the moment we upload this video, if in case you've missed to watch the live show, it will notify you that the Coffee Break Show that you missed is up, and you'll be able to watch it. But you can also follow us on our Twitter handle is HTV1, and you'll be able to get to know information that we tweet here and about the show in case you missed it. We're still having Michael here in our studios, and Michael is telling us more of his experiences when and how he joined coffee. What was it like? He told us in the first segment of the show that he had a face-to-face with the famous popular Connie. That still rings a bell in my mind, like, oh, Michael saw Connie face-to-face. But before we went to a break, we were talking about your barista champion as a person, but also like that's introducing coffee clubs in schools and at what level they're supposed to be introduced at. Let's speak about your journey of becoming a barista champion. You are national barista champion of Uganda currently, because we've not had like champions competitions in 2 years.
Yeah.
How do you get to be a barista champion?
As I said, it's all started from the university. I joined the university. Then along the way, Uganda Coffee Development Authority helped us through internship, because we applied for internship to learn more about coffee practically. Then along the way, that's when they told us that there is also this section, this segment called barista. And like, okay, why can't we join? We also joined. Then when we joined, then they told us that along the way there is still competition. Like, okay, like some of us are very furious with competition. We want to get there and see. Yeah, so it happened. We started practice. That time we had universities, Chambogo, Makerere, we had UCU, and I think which other university was representing? I think those. So we competed. Actually, the final competitions took place at UCU in Mukono. Then I was crowned a champion.
This is your first competition?
2015.
2015?
Yes. Then, as a national champion, normally what it does, it calls the inter-university champions, whether you're the first, if you're the first from your, let me say from your university, you come and then also represent your university on a national level. So I went to represent Chambogo in 2015, but man, it was hot. Like, guys were hot. Like, I couldn't even,
by hot? Like a lot of energy,
like,
you know?
Yes, you know, you're just straight from the university, then you have all these books along, then you are trying to practice, but then when you reach there, you find people with different innovation, So I couldn't actually go through the next stage, but I was still there in the university. So when I completed 2017, I was like, I think I need to try my luck, you know? So when I tried my luck, this time around I came independently, not university. So I tried my luck, then I became the second. Then I was like, I think I can still make it. On the national stage, you know, it's not simple.
Is that 2016 now?
That is 2016.
Yeah. Because 2015, you never went through.
Yes.
The second time you came?
That was 2017.
2017.
Yes.
Okay.
When I came back 2017, when I was done. So I competed, and 2018, that is when we had a very rough competition with one of my brothers I give respect. It's called Simon Ochen Eidodo, who took actually position #1 in 2018. Yeah, so we had a one-on-one with him. Then I won.
You won?
Yeah.
For 2018?
I won for 2018.
That's how you become a barista champion?
That's how I become a barista
now,
champion.
Is that the level of university or national?
That is a national level.
Or you won him on a national
level, yes.
So he was the second runners-up on the national level?
He was the first runners-up on a national level, 2018. But he was a champion in 2017. Sorry, 2018. Me, I won 2019. Yeah.
Okay. What are the benefits you've gotten through being a Ugandan champion?
Okay, I think the benefits, one of the most important benefits is the awareness. You know, people get to know who you are. Then the small connections, of course, start coming in, like, can you come and train for me, these people? Can you come and do this? It's majorly more of the awareness, not like that there is money alone.
Oh, man. You know, in Uganda, when it's competition, we expect something on the side. Like, yes, I'm competing, but there's something on the side. So there's nothing totally that comes with the winner.
With the winners, normally given accolades and
just an accolade.
Majorly accolades.
No, like a take home something.
Maybe the government will improvise that along, but at the moment, by the time we competed, there was nothing of that sort.
I think UCDA needs to revise this with the government. Like, I can't just compete and you just give me a title or an accolade to take home, because I've invested into the competition, like to train, to buy equipments, to buy my milk, to buy my coffee, my time. So if it's a competition, you need to like at least reimburse the things.
Actually, yes. This competition is very tedious. It is, and it's very expensive, you know. So one of the things that makes you a champion is not just making these great coffees, okay? You need to have a storyline. Now this storyline starts all the way from the farm, okay? You need to buy time, go to the farm, be there for a month, maybe trying to work with farmers.
That's what I'm
to
talking
ensure
about,
that you
Michael.
actually get the best out of the best you get. So when you come back here, then you are supposed to buy equipment. Then from equipment, you are supposed to start practice. Then with practice has a lot of, you're supposed to do a lot of wastage on milk, on coffee, on almost everything, you know. Yes, but
yeah, your time has to be paid for. Let's speak about your experience in like going, because when you're national barista champion, which means you're going to represent the country on a world barista level.
yes.
Did you represent the world on a
So
world barista level?
it was a very unfortunate thing that I went to apply for US visa because the competition was supposed to be in Boston, Massachusetts. I went to apply for the visa, then I was denied. Then we filed a complaint again, twice, but it failed.
That makes me wonder, like,
So it was hard for me to travel.
yeah, it makes me surprised that you're representing the nation, the country Uganda, and people who are supposed to help you do this are just letting you do it yourself. Or it's not like that.
They sent me to go and apply. So I went for the interview, and you know how US is really very,
Yeah.
that was Trump's time. It was extremely hard. So I applied, I went for the interview, I think I failed, then we appealed, and still we didn't get any hope.
Okay.
Yes, but
So-
that didn't really make it, everything works for its own good, you know. We shouldn't blame anyone of anything.
No, we're not blaming anyone, but we're just pointing out the gaps that need to be fixed, so that this is like a world barista champion or competition,
Yeah.
which represents different nations on a
Yeah.
global stage.
Yeah.
So if we don't point out such gaps to be filled, we won't get anywhere. So has the barista, as you as a person being a barista champion
Yeah.
in Uganda, has it gotten you anywhere, like maybe fly out on different breakfast meetings, lunch meetings, you know?
Breakfast meetings, lunch, maybe no, but I've been exposed twice to go to at least 2 countries. I went to Kigali to represent Uganda on the African stage. Yeah, and that time I was a third. Yeah, the competition was of course tight. Then I also got the opportunity to go and represent Uganda still in Mombasa, Kenya. So I was a second. But it was more of competition.
More competition,
Yes.
both in Rwanda and
But
Kigali.
it wasn't.
I mean Kigali and Mombasa.
Kigali and Mombasa.
Let me ask you something about Kigali. You know Kigali is also getting somewhere with coffee.
Yeah, sure.
What do you say about that? Like, do you think Kigali is doing something that we're not doing for them to get where they're getting right now?
Are you saying we are up, they are low, or they are low, or we are up?
Okay, we're up than
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
but according to the way how Kigali is bringing fire. Have you ever been like in a race and you're seeing someone at the back?
Running.
The guy is coming for you, eh?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be right. Those guys have very good coffees. I think most of them are estate farmers. You know how estate farmers work together to ensure that they produce quality? Yeah. The challenge here in the country is, I think, we have more of small scale farmers. That is one of the biggest problem. That they don't actually give us like the value because they are so money-minded, you know. But as estates, they always produce high quality. Yeah. But I think, you know, we can have all these coffees, but competition sets
The best.
sets the best. You
Yeah.
know, you're able to actually say, yeah, Uganda has good coffee. You know, because the judges have appreciated it. Yeah.
You know, I was reading a competition for Africa's #1 barista right now, who's
Shabaya.
Shabaya.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an article, and he was saying in the last 5 or 3 competitions he has been using Ugandan coffee.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's amazing. But also the fact that he came down here in Uganda,
Yeah.
and he was at your lab.
Yeah.
By the way, Michael is a CEO. Being a CEO at this age, it's something unique, you know. People have been CEOs at the age of 30, 40. But Michael here at the age of, he refused to tell us, is a CEO of Brew Plus Coffee Academy. How does it come? How do you hatch the idea of starting up an academy?
Okay, let's start from Shabaya. With Shabaya, we have competed with him on the African stage. He has fire, you know. He is a very, very, very good person, but very educative. He can actually teach you a lot of things, you know. So when he came here, actually, I just got a call from him. I was like, Michael, I'm passing by. Can I come by and see you? I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, this is us, you know. Yeah, so he came by. He totally loved whatever we were doing. He loved the place. It was like if there was time, he would actually stay here for some good time, you know. Yes. So the idea comes in. The idea of Blue Plus actually comes in ever since I stepped into the university when the coffee things came up to me, when I came into the competition, because I realized that I didn't really have enough time to do my own practice, you know. But then I kept thinking, I'm like, how can I do this at my own capacity? How can I grow it to ensure that when it is competition, I have some time that I can actually practice from, you know. And then also the government authority really wasn't really giving us enough time, because, you know, it being a government body, you check in, let me say at 8, by 5 they are closing, you know. But then when you compare world competitions, when a barista is going to compete, he's actually given like a lab, a full lab. He practices day in, day out, night, morning, afternoon, everything, you see, every time. Yeah. So that gave me a zeal, like, I think I need to. That was actually one of my primary goals. I think I need to do something that even if I'll ever come back for competition, or I have one of my friends or anyone who wants to join and he wants to do a little bit of more practice, there is always be a platform for them to actually like do practice, more, you know, practice more, and like then at that point, we actually develop more concepts. We work together as a team to ensure that we actually send someone, we are sending someone accredited, someone of high value, someone who can able to tell Ugandan, to tell people that Uganda has very good coffee, because it's all about competition.
So at Brew Plus, you do not only like prepare these guys who are going for competitions, but you also like give them equipment, give them time and knowledge.
Yes, but then when Brew Plus was born, I think it was in COVID time. So since 2018 up to now since I am still the reigning champion, they haven't had any like competition so far. But we hope maybe this year could be I don't know, a fruitful year, that we shall have competitions and we shall mentor many as possible.
So I can confidently say that you being a national barista champion, you've gotten a school, you've gotten connections, and you're earning a living.
Yeah, you can say that. That's not bad to say.
Anyway, guys, you're still watching the Coffee Break Show here with me, Amon Mukisa. I'm with my colleague here, Michael Korach, telling us more about coffee industry and the competitions in Uganda, especially in coffee. Look out for our next segment after the break, where we shall be talking about coffee and the health benefits. I know most of you guys want really to know, how beneficial is it like to take coffee, and what are some of the effects? Well, more on that with Michael Okorach here after this break.
You have to know each equipment. You have to know the brew ratio. Actually, brew ratio is
very important.
the most important. Brew ratio now most people may not understand. It is the ratio of the coffee powder to water, and the yield. Water in this article will bring us into the yield. If I put 10 grams of coffee into my portafilter, how much of it am I exactly? So if you don't master the brew ratio, oh, everything is going to turn out a mess. You understand? Even if you know that knowledge and you don't master the brew ratio.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching House of Television with me, Amon Mukisa, here on the Coffee Break Show. And I'm not riding alone, I'm riding with Michael Korach here on the show. Michael.
Yes, brother.
We were speaking about you having the coffee like experiencing coffee on a world level, and we talked about you going in Rwanda and Zimbabwe. Was that Mombasa? Yeah. Was that also like UCDA organizing that, or the Ugandan government organizing that?
Yeah, it was the Ugandan government organizing for the air ticket and then the welfare for me being there. Yeah.
And so would we say like those are some of the benefits you get when you're a national barista?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Maybe me going to US would have also made more light out there, but then that wasn't my chance. But I think those are the benefits that you actually get.
Yeah, the reason why I'm doing so much on this is this show, especially today's show, we want to at least inspire more people, more youth to compete. Because the more we compete, the more we get innovations, the more we get our coffee up there. So if we get to know like the benefits, what you get when you compete, at least we encourage this person who wants to compete, knowing that, okay, if at all I don't get this much money or this much pay when I compete, there is an opportunity for me to fly out and experience the world out there. So if we don't talk about these things on the show, it won't create any sense.
Majorly, as I said, it's more about the awareness. You know, the world gets to see you, and if any opportunity knocks out there, why not? If you're taken, let me say, to US or to wherever to work, then it's a good thing, right? Okay. It's more of the exposure, but maybe the government has to look on it to see some of the things besides just the travel. Yeah.
Okay, guys, as we're heading through our brewing session here, which I can't wait to see how Michael is going to do it, because he's a barista champion, national. So I can't wait to taste his coffee. We're having a topic which is what are the benefits or what are the effects of coffee when you drink it? Because we've had very many people say, when I drink coffee, I got headache. When I drink coffee, I feel stomachache. When I drink coffee, I don't sleep. So Michael, in that topic, is going to be able to elaborate all that. You can also tell us what you think using our Twitter handle, that's at HTV1 Uganda, and let us know what you think. Our topic is already there, up and running, but also subscribe to our YouTube channel, that's at House of Talent Uganda. Michael.
Yes, brother. Can
we talk about a little bit of a coffee bean? Like coffee most bean. People here, it's a coffee bean.
Yeah.
How much caffeine do we have in a coffee bean?
We have them in milligrams. Yeah, very small quantities. I can't state because different brewing equipments tend to give us different amount of caffeine. Okay. But I could say between, let me say, 50 to 100 grams per cup. So that much.
What's caffeine itself?
Caffeine is a chemical structure that is actually a stimulant in the body. That when you actually take this coffee, you get a little bit excited, you know. how does the excitement comes about?
Okay.
Now, we can break down the science slightly. That when you take this coffee, it goes into the bloodstream, and when it travels to the bloodstream, it passes through the nerves, the nervous system to the brain. Now, in the brain, what it does, there's a neurotransmitter called adenosine. Now, adenosine has almost the same chemical structure like caffeine. Okay, so what it does, it attaches itself to caffeine. Okay, so when it attaches itself to caffeine, then it helps in releasing more other neurotransmitters like dopamine, which are receptors of happiness. You know, that is where when people take coffee, they start smiling. They start, like, they get so excited, they get happy. That is it. Majorly, caffeine has those two importances. Okay. The stimulant part of it, and then the happiness part of it. So the negative part of it is the depression, because when we are happy, then we are trying to kill the what? We are trying to kill the depression. That is where when people say, when we take coffee, we actually reduce the risk of depression. It's majorly because of those hormones being produced, right? The neurotransmitters being produced out. Yes. Then when you talk about majorly with coffee and health, they are one of the serious diseases we could talk about in this world right now is cancer.
Before we get to that, Michael,
yes,
I want to smile as I'm taking my coffee. So what do we have here? Because you spoke about smiling, and I want to smile before I talk about all those things of like cancer and everything, because I don't want to be depressed. What are we going to brew today here?
So we are going to brew a compressor.
A compressor, what's that?
A compressor is just a small gadget. It's a small gadget. It's just like it's just like an AeroPress,
okay,
but it's a more unique version, and it's more sophisticated. I like it so much because let me open for you this. The clarity, the clarity it gives in the cup is amazing. Okay, so this is how it works. It has its own tamper, by the way. This is a tamper. Okay. Yeah, so maybe you can help me pour for me water.
Sure, no worries. As you tell us more about the compressor.
So what the compressor does is more of a pressurized system. Like, wow, coffee is amazing, you know. I'm a fan of nachos, so I decided to bring the nachos to the show. Yeah, so
I don't need a scale while doing that?
We could use a scale, but then what if there are instances whereby we are, let me say, we are going out, we are just going to have fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
we take such small
now.
gadgets. We take this kind of small gadgets. Like, we don't need a weighing scale.
Okay.
A weighing scale isn't going to help us drink coffee.
Okay. But also I like the idea that you don't need, it's like standardized, because there is if we could carry it up before it turns, there is like a level where you need to put coffee and you stop. It's not like any other coffee brewing equipment whereby you need to measure or what, you know?
Okay, so this is how we tamp.
Okay.
Okay, so
here's your water.
Water is ready. Yeah. So this equipment is amazing. Most times when I'm going to the field is what I use.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot something. Just a moment. It's just as a filter.
Yeah, amazing. It's more of like an espresso, you know?
Yeah, it's that's why they call
because
it
you
compressor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do the rest.
So our water, I don't know the temperatures of the water, but I think
you who is at home, I think if you want to make this, you of course boil the water at a certain temperature. Wow. We're more like in a laboratory. These things like, it's like a pipette. You remember pipette?
Yeah, it's like a pipette, you know? Yeah. But this is how far that people have gone with innovation, technology.
And that's why I want like us to encourage more people like to compete, because the more you compete, the more your brain opens up and you get innovative. Because now if you have like such things,
Yeah.
I just need my water and coffee plus maybe a mug, and I'll be able to make my coffee.
Definitely. As I said now, this is like what we do in the field. We get it, just what we need is ground coffee, water. And you're able to take your coffee.
So
you know?
this compressor would be ideal for a person traveling,
Yeah, traveling.
and a person maybe who doesn't. How much would it go for?
I can't tell the price. I can't tell the price. Maybe.
But it's worth the investment, because
Yeah, it's worth the
you
investment.
don't have like a bigger machine on you, or a bigger, you know, like AeroPress, French press. It's just small.
Yeah.
You can even put it in a pocket as you're moving.
So it has a plunger.
Okay.
So what it does is, what we normally do is, we normally pump.
Oh, you don't push at once. Nice. Wow.
So it makes that much. Okay. Let's add some water.
Okay. This is nice, because you don't need much energy. Just as simple as pumping, like, yeah. Wow, guys, this is the Coffee Break Show. We are making live the coffee on the show, and as you can see, it's simply as that, and you have your coffee to drink. So me, I can't wait to taste this coffee. And I smile already, you know?
Yep. And then we smile.
And then we smile.
Okay.
So we can buy this coffee. So would I say that these are more of like 60 mils of coffee, because you put twice the water?
The water?
Does it give you like strong coffee?
Yeah, it depends. Depends on the grind that you're using.
Okay. Wow. Nice. So
Yeah, I think it needs a toast.
it needs a toast, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, it's amazing.
Like as you said, it's natural. Tastes natural.
Yeah,
There's no additives in it.
nothing.
Nothing. Well, this is the compressor, and as you've seen, it's a tutorial by Michael, and he has been able to show us how the compressor makes coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
You just need your coffee grinds,
Hot water.
your hot water, your mug,
Your mug?
and the equipment,
The
and you're good to
equipment,
go. Well, Michael, let's speak about the coffee and health issue. Many times I've had pregnant women say, I cannot take coffee. I've had people say, when I take coffee, I get headache. What's the science between there? A pregnant woman not taking coffee, but also these people taking coffee and they get different issues. What's the science?
Okay, it still gets back to one particular compound called caffeine. You know, it's being a stimulant and its activeness. So sometimes we normally tell pregnant mothers who have been taking coffee, for instance, 5 cups or 4 cups a day, maybe to reduce to 1, okay? Because...
All right, Michael, before we get into all the details of that, we shall take a short commercial break, and we shall be right back.
All right.
You have to know each equipment. You have to know the brew ratio. Actually, the brew ratio is, I
very
think,
important.
the most important. Brew ratio now most people may not understand. It is the ratio of the coffee powder to water, and the yield. Water in this article will bring us into the yield. If I put 10 grams of coffee into my portafilter, how much of it am I exactly? So if you don't master the brew ratio, oh, everything is going to turn out a mess. You understand? Even if you know that knowledge and you don't master the brew ratio.
Welcome back for that short commercial break. I couldn't wait so much for long to taste this coffee and also get into this conversation so fast. Michael, we're talking about the coffee benefits and how pregnant women get affected when they take coffee. Briefly, what's the science behind that?
Majorly, the science is just the caffeine content, you know. The caffeine being a stimulant, there's a way it activates everything.
Okay.
It keeps, when you take this coffee, it goes into the bloodstream and then it increases on blood pressure, blood starts flowing. So when that's happened, the blood also, sorry, the heart also start slightly skipping, okay? So sometimes pregnant women, remember they have a fetus, the baby inside, and the baby is highly sensitive to caffeine. So sometimes we tell those who have been taking maybe to reduce, or maybe to take slightly milky coffee, which is slightly diluted, you know. But we don't tell you that, please don't stop, like don't do coffee anymore and all that.
Right.
But some mothers just say, me, I don't take coffee.
Okay. Well, to pregnant women, Michael says you don't need to stop taking coffee.
Yeah,
you can go on and take coffee, but take more or less strong coffees. What are some of also like the benefits of coffee, like besides, you know, like not sleeping, if you want to do something?
It still gets back to caffeine.
So everything rotates around caffeine?
Everything rotates around caffeine and other components. Maybe I can break them down.
Okay.
Caffeine being the stimulant, when it goes into the bloodstream, when that happens, the heart starts pumping slightly, the blood flows at a slightly higher rate, then you realize that you're active.
Okay.
Then also you're happy, you get. Then one of the most important things that I wanted to mention clearly is cancer. Coffee doesn't cure cancer, but it reduces the risks of cancer. Now, how does this work? We realize that what causes cancer are normally what we call free radicals. Now, free radicals, these are just compounds that are in our bodies, but these free radicals are very dangerous. Okay, so what they do is they go and attack the cellular DNA, our structure, and expose these cancerous cells out. Okay, now we have compounds in coffees, for instance, chlorogenic acids. These are very high compounds which have higher concentrations of antioxidants.
Okay.
Yes. So we realize that these things, when they come into the body, when we take this coffee, they go all the way, and then they decide to neutralize the harmful effect, and with that, cancer. We tend to lower the risk, but not saying we are curing.
Okay.
Yes, but there's quite a lot more to discuss on coffee and health.
Well, we still have more time in more coming episodes, and we shall be bringing you back, Michael, to tell us more about how coffee and cancer are related, or how coffee can maybe minimize the risk of getting cancer.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, what are some of the last words you have for our viewers over there?
Some of the last words I have for viewers is that people who are very sensitive, especially pregnant mothers, people who are kids, people who are having high blood pressure, and people having high cholesterol levels. Please.
You know, when you're speaking such important information, I always want someone to make an eye contact through that lens. So please, make that eye contact through that camera over there.
Okay, I'm still saying that people who are very sensitive to caffeine, pregnant mothers, especially with a fetus, you know, then breastfeeding mothers, then people with high cholesterol levels in the body, and people with high blood pressure. So most times when you're taking these coffees, maybe you have to dilute it a little bit so that it doesn't really affect you. I think that goes to as advice. But then when it comes to coffee, I allocate everyone and I tell everyone to join the industry, because the industry is amazing. You can join it from any sector. Me, I'm a barista, I'm a coffee lover, I'm just an enthusiast, and I'm a teacher. I love coffee. That's all I can say.
Well, what more do I have to say? Michael has said it all. What you have to do is check out our social media platforms. In case you've missed this live show, you can find this show on YouTube. You look out for House of Talent Uganda. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever we upload these episodes that you've missed during the live stream. Well, catch you next Saturday as me and Michael, we're here toasting to the best natural coffee ever we've had on the show. Bye-bye.
Yeah, sure.
It is a Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okila, and this is House of Talent Television. On this refined day when we bring you the discussion about the new Africa-France relationship. What does it mean for Africa? What does it mean for the creative industry in Uganda? And of course in East Africa, what does it mean? Breaking down this today on this particular program of the day is the one and only, the man who was in France, fresh from Montefiore. He is the CEO and a startup business owner here in Uganda, but also an aerospace engineer. I would like to introduce to you my guest today on the program, or this morning, this afternoon, this evening, depending on which part of the world you're actually watching the program from, is Paul Charles Rukundo. Paul, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yes, here we spread love with the other hand. So you bring the other hand and then you spread love. Aha. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good to have you on the program today.
Good to be here.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and this particular day we want to discuss the new Africa-France relationship and what does it mean for the creative industry in Uganda, particularly in the tech space where you are.
Yes.
And you have been investing in the tech space for some time, and we want to know from you this new talk that France has brought and they're talking about right now, fresh from the summit in 2021 in Montefiore. What does it mean for the creative industry? What are they saying? How can we, take advantage of this and actually make sure that this relationship that we're beginning to forge is something that is good for us and we can take advantage of it? And I want to start from a very lighter note of knowing who you are. So, in a nutshell, who is Paul? Are you Ugandan? If yes, where do you come from? What are the values that define you as a person?
So, my name is Paul Charles Rukundo.
Yeah.
I'm an aerospace engineer, Ugandan born from Kisoro. Part of the family is from Kampala, and part of it is from Kisoro. I went to school here in Entebbe, Lakeside Academy, and I happened to be the head prefect there. Went on to St. Mary's College Kisubi after being the best in Entebbe municipality. And that's where they started building my dream of becoming an aerospace engineer.
Yeah.
And then on moved to do the international baccalaureate diploma, then moved to my aerospace program where I did excel, and I used to teach a few of my other students at the university, which in turn inspired me that we could actually create solutions for the white people as well.
Yeah.
And it gave me the confidence and determination to go on and do my own things later on in life.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, I like the fact that you started leadership from the very, early age.
Yes.
And on that note, Paul, what is leadership to you?
To be honest with you, leadership is, from my perspective, it's ability to pass on good qualities to the people that that follow you, the people that should aspire to be like you, or to operate in a manner that society expects them to. So it's more about passing on good values to the people and taking them, showing them the right way that things have to be done. So yeah, that's my definition, so to speak. Leadership. Yes.
Yes, and I just want to take you back a little bit, Paul.
Yes.
You said that you started, you became a head prefect when you were very young,
yes.
I suppose. And just want to ask you a question. Would you term that to being a good leader, or would you call that self-leadership? What would you call that?
At that point, it's the people that actually asked me to lead them.
Yeah.
I had been a class monitor all the way from the junior years, and when they asked me to stand, I stood, and the other people actually dropped out. So my friends, and they said, if you're actually coming up to the platform to lead us, then we have no reason to stand against you, and we'll support you. So I went through unopposed, and it was quite an experience. I loved it.
Wow. I would like to take a moment to welcome everybody out there to the Creative Industry Talk. And of course, in the studio is Paul Charles Rukundo, who is the CEO of Smart Business Intelligence, SBI, a company founded in Uganda, as well as, KAWA, which stands for Associated Agency for Writers in Uganda. And of course, Paul is still the CEO there and trying to lead a group of people. We're definitely going to ask Paul to share a little bit more about these two organizations that he leads, and what do they do, how do they, do things creatively, and what solutions are they providing to the market space in Uganda and all across East Africa, if there are any, and of course going to the rest of the world. We want to take this moment to welcome all of you guys to the program. And of course, Creative Industry Talk is discussing today the France Africa Summit 2021, the relationships. We're continuing with the series on what does it really mean for Uganda's creative industry in technology. And Paul is here to break that down. Last week we had Mr. Peter Nyeko coming from Mandali's Energy to talk about what does it mean for people in the energy space. And of course, Peter was able to break that down. Paul, we want to just dive into this conversation quickly. You were in France.
Yes, I was.
And you happen to be among the few people who made it. I was in France by just a video.
Yes.
I recorded a statement.
Yes.
Would you just give us a small perspective of what this really means for Africa? What does New Africa-France relationship mean for Africa, in your perspective?
In my perspective, I think I like the initiative that President Macron and his team have taken. It's a big initiative called Choose Africa. And it's being led by the French Development Agency, FD. And FD is there to support governments, for those that don't know. And they purely support government. Then there is another arm called Propaco. Propaco is the private sector lending arm of the French government. And they basically support microfinance institutions. So they also do support SMEs, but through the microfinance institutions. And there's Digital Africa that is also supporting startups in tech, in this creative industry. And being there, I saw the zeal that they had to actually change, to participate, to take charge of what is happening in the continent, and to create solid partnerships, mutually beneficial partnerships that we could actually take advantage of. We managed to go there. We managed to network with quite a number of people. Met people from all over the country, from the Anglophone to the Francophone to the Spanish-speaking African countries. And it's quite interesting seeing youth, just like us, that are facing similar challenges, but they're managing to, create their own solutions, from their own countries to try and help themselves. And one thing I would like to allude to or tell the other youth out there is we have to start creating our own solutions for our own problems. Otherwise, no one else is going to come from, Europe, America, or wherever to try and fix our own issues. So I would like to urge other youth, the other creatives out there, hit the ground running, go in there, try and solve the problem that your neighbor has, the problem that your friends have. And by creating those solutions, you can easily become the next big company of tomorrow, creating bigger solutions nationwide and on a continent level.
Okay. Yes. Talking of that, Paul, I want to just drive straight to your, if you would tell us more a little bit about your organization. Your organization in the creative space, and we've been following this for a while. You got a nomination to come into the program, not only because you have been in France, but also because a group of people have been following what you've been doing. And if you would take a moment to just tell us about, smart business intelligence, what is it about? What problems did you identify in the market space? And how did you come up with a product that you think are creatively solving, the problems that are in the marketplace? And how were you able to put the brand ahead of time? It's not easy. The world described Uganda as the most entrepreneurial country in the world, but yet our business has started, does not see its next birthday, as we keep saying, or it does not go beyond 4-6 months, and yet we're very entrepreneurial. How were you able to hold this down growing forward? So we happen to be in one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the world. East Africans they've got a huge entrepreneurial spirit. And there was data out there that said for every 10 startups, you've got 8 that fail in their first year. So I've got my other colleagues, partners in the business, and one of the founders of SPI is a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, who happens to be an accountant as well. He's called Francis Otim, and the other is Ivan Oboth, who is a data scientist. In regard to the creative part of the company, what we discovered vis-a-vis the 10, out of the 10 startups, 8 failing, we decided to create solutions based on data. So that they're data-driven solutions, data-driven insights. And the idea was to work with these SMEs, work with these enterprises, see the visibility gaps they could have in their companies, try and fix those visibility gaps, fix those control gaps. So we come in, transform the company digitally. Then we've got one of our products called My Accounts. It's an ERP, it's an accounting system. But basically what we do for the SME, for example, we'll come in there, give you the ERP, which is super cheap. We actually
almost don't make a profit on that ERP because we're trying to help the SME. We're trying to help our own small companies grow to the next level. It's about 15,000 shillings a month for one user, but we usually package 1 to 10 users and have it sold at about 150,000.
Which is still affordable.
Which is still affordable. But the whole idea is your company will be able to know. I mean, if you take an example of some of our mothers or aunties that might be selling gonja in the market, might be selling meat in the market, but she's just that one person. She's got a big spirit, got a dream of doing something to, you know, help the families, you know, have that company that, you know, can start out. If you're the youth, you know, you're selling your Rolex, but how do you manage your finances? How do you manage your cash flows? So by using our ERP, they're able to manage their cash flows better. And it's a very simple, you know, application to use. Web-based, mobile-based. It's mobile money integratable. And what we essentially help them with is the cash flow management. And then we also give them actionable insights. Depending on the package you've taken, give you actionable insights, and you're able to know, okay, with my cash flows that I have, where am I going wrong? Am I keeping too much inventory? Unlike the other softwares that we've seen out there, most of them do not have the inventory software management that is actually embedded within their ERPs. Ours is quite holistic. We'll manage your production. If you're a big entity, you know, we'll manage the production, we'll manage the sourcing, we'll manage the distribution, and we've got softwares to do that. And we're actually a testament that AI, data, machine learning can actually be done by a Ugandan company, and we thrive at it. We thrive at it. And for the SMEs, as I was telling you, we aid them with that cash flow management bit of it, an e-accountant, so to speak. And what is interesting is we'll have them survive past that 1 year. But not just survive, but thrive as well. So that, you know, okay, with these finances that I have, can I be able to buy a new machine? Can I be able to employ 5 other people? And you'll be able to know that, okay, if I hire 5 more people, it will affect my cash flows in this way. It will affect my cash flows down the line. If I hold too much inventory, how will it affect my cash flow? Or, you know, because of our insights and analytics that we've got, one can be able to know that I've been holding too much inventory here. And so I've got to offload some of it, which will aid them have more cash to operate with and cover their OPEX and some of the CAPEX.
Wow. Paul, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want us to dive into Kawa, and of course, you'll also throw a little bit more light about how this is changing lives in that area. So far from what we're hearing from you is that it's a very interesting, creative, you know, innovation that are helping businesses grow forward. Data has not been one of our, you know, main strength in Uganda. When we talk about data in Uganda, it says it's too expensive, I can't afford this at this point. And then we talk about creatively, you know, communicating about our products and brands. Says, no, that's too much money, I can't go into branding and marketing at the moment. So you find a lot of information about our businesses actually not out. Then you find our businesses are not, or our products are not on shelves anywhere, either in Uganda or across East Africa, or even in Africa, competing at that level with products coming from Kenya, Rwanda, and the likes, simply because the product packaging and branding is not very good. So it's not just about the data you are talking about. Does it help us to actually get to this point to say, you know what, you need to package your product very well. The reason why you're having too much inventory in the store is because you're not selling that much, or this product X or Y is not moving that much.
Exactly.
And, does it really get to that point where the person gets to creatively begin to realize what the problem is?
To be honest, you're an ambassador of ours, so to speak, because that's exactly what it does. It's smart. It uses the artificial intelligence to be able to tell you that the way you're running your business is not the right way. This is where you're doing poorly. This is where you're thriving. These are the products you're selling more. This is where you're making the losses. Fix that gap. This is where you're most likely to thrive. So you focus on that. And because of those insights, your small company starts putting, starts targeting, the market directly, because you know what product sells, which means you are going to have bigger revenue, more revenue, which means your company is going to thrive. So instead of seeing these 8 companies collapsing after 1 year, we hope to see maybe all the 10 go through in the first year, so that we can have higher employment in the country, so that we can have our products in shelves, in the UK, in all over Europe, Paris, in the US, and all over. But at the end, alluding to what we had spoken about earlier, from our experience going to Paris and talking to the big companies, what sort of product or sort of company can go to Europe and thrive. Our competitors that are there, who we have identified, we know that we can get into that same space, go toe-to-toe with them, and hopefully beat them at that game. So we are confident that we can thrive at a global level. But then again, we need to help our African businesses. We need to help our brothers. We need to help our sisters, so that they can pull up their socks, so to speak. They can thrive through our data-driven insights.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, we're talking to Paul on the Creative Industry Talk, and we're discussing the new Africa-France relationship coming out of the Summit 2021. Paul was one of the people who went to Montefiore, and we're definitely going to be diving a little bit deeper to understand what went in that place, what went right or wrong, or what are the hopes that we can look forward to from that relationship that France is talking about. It's a new dawn for Africa. Let us choose Africa. Stay right there. We'll be right back after the break. This is Creative Industry Talk.
We can choose to teach what we teach differently. Knowledge is God is gracious. Each one of us has a portion of knowledge about some of the things. When you trigger people to go and search, they will go. When you trigger people to sit back and depend on you, they will sit back. I'll say, trigger people to go and search. You will teach the same things, but the outcomes will be different. My final shot to those of us that are very passionate about education and want to change, when it is so painful with what you're doing, you'll do what I'm doing at Refactory. You'll choose to go against status quo. And I hope history will judge you fairly when that time comes.